reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
What's up, everybody? It's the Horror Deconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, but most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Tell them, Danny, what to do.
Share and subscribe.
With your host, Komp, and...
Why?
Today's film is...
X 2022.
I wasn't sure if you were sure. You just said X?
No, I forgot for a second, but then, yeah, I remembered. X. That was the point of the Y joke.
X. Oh, I get it. X. See, I'm the slow one this episode. X 2022, written and directed by Ty West. Starring Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, and Brittany Snow. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive elderly hosts... See, this is why I had to go see an eye doctor today. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast find themselves fighting for their lives. So, Danny, this is the 2022 hot movie.
Ty West knows how to make a beautiful-looking film.
Yes. We had we've been in or out with Ty West and his films.
I don't necessarily... I'm looking at his list right here, and I've seen most of them. I don't necessarily care for the movies. Like, they're not, like, the greatest movies ever, but they look fucking great.
Yes, he's a great visual. So let's talk about the movies that we have seen. We've seen The Innkeepers, which I liked.
That was one of the first ones we saw.
Yes.
That was actually kind of, like, fun until all of a sudden it became a horror movie.
The Sacrament.
I'm saying, like, it was fun, like, it was, like, funny. And then The House of the Devil we saw.
Yeah, I remember I didn't like that movie that much because it was just, like, a camera going around a house for, like, 10 hours. The
Sacrament we saw with the religious...
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of The Sacrament.
And that's it as far as I know.
No, his greatest piece of work, wasn't it in ABCs of Death? Let me see. Was he... M is for Miscarriage? Remember the greatest single...
He did that one. Oh, God, that's terrible. Okay. Yeah, that's terrible.
We never, like, compare his other movies. We always compare his movies to that one.
That a lot. That's
because
one.
It's the single worst movie we've ever seen.
How did he make that? I don't
know, because all I remember watching that part is that... Because M for Miscarriage was obviously part of ABC's Death. It was the letter M. And it was a woman going on a toilet. It looked like it was shot with two cameras. It was like... two shots. A woman going into a bathroom, and then she gets off the toilet, and then you see, like, a fetus in the toilet. And by watching his other movies, I don't even think he shot that. I think he, like, said somebody used his name because...
Yeah.
I think everybody was given a budget of $5,000.
He wrote it, too, apparently. I don't understand.
There's no writing for that. It's a woman sits on a toilet and has a miscarriage. I think everybody on that film got $5,000 or $2,000 to shoot their segment.
I think it was $5,000 for a 2-minute film.
And I tell you this, you couldn't. I don't know where that $5,000 went. So I've always
up his
had
nose. I think when he made that.
No,
one.
allegedly. So I've always like held that like that as the pinnacle of one of the worst things I've ever seen. But
his movies are. Cool.
He's clearly talented.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan
talented.
of all.
I mean, he knows. How
I'm not
to
a fan of his movies, but I feel with this film like it's great. It's like it's exactly what it sold itself to be because. Also, I was kind of comparing it to The Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, or whatever it's called, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Is this his first A24?
I'm not sure. You would think that he'd be in a lot of them, so I'm not sure yet. But this is obviously falls under the sort of high art or highbrow type of horror film. Just look. Like the subject matter isn't highbrow, but the way that it's handled and it's shot is really well done. But comparing it to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the reboot, which sucked, but was better than the Halloween movie, but they both stink, so it doesn't matter. Because it has that Texas saturated look, you know what I mean? And the new Texas was like just stupid and just didn't make any sense to me. And this one... I was like, okay, let me see. It looked like a 70s film. The people were appropriately dressed like in the 70s. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre...
They really got the feeling of the 70s in this.
Like, the reboot of Texas wasn't supposed to be in the 70s, but it didn't even feel like somebody who actually gave a shit about the original movies made it. But with this looks like somebody who actually watched all those films. You know what I mean? Like in the 70s
well, I was reading that he was inspired... I mean... I pretty much guessed what he was inspired by, and I got all of them right.
Okay, so let's get into that. So this film is something that a lot of people are talking about, and rightfully so. I enjoyed it first out. What did you think? Did you like it or not?
I enjoyed it.
Okay, with
I wasn't
some caveats.
super impressed with it.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I was comparing it to Emma's for Miscarriage. That's why I liked it so much. And I was like, it's pretty
I remember when you said that it was great, and I was getting my hopes up, and I think I got my hopes up too much. No, it's okay.
I apologize. Yeah, I guess I am part of the mob that really enjoyed this film for the first time, as opposed to me usually being the guy who doesn't give a shit what anybody else is talking about. But so anyway, this film starts out with a group of young ne'er-do-wells. It's Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, Kid
That's a great
Cudi.
last name.
Goth or
Yeah.
Snow?
Goth. Well, both actually. Both.
Yeah, those are
cool.
pretty. Those are two opposite names, right? That sounds like a sitcom for two sisters. Like one's like a goth and the other one's like a Christian girl.
And like they slowly, crack each other's weaknesses and bond as sisters, but it's funny in the meantime.
Yeah. So and then there's also Kid Cudi, who's a rapper, and I've known of Kid Cudi for a long time. I've never heard his music. He's sort of like
Scott Mescudi. That's cool. Oh, so his name is Kid Cudi. His last name
that makes sense.
Mescudi. That's funny.
I guess that makes sense. That's a good name. But I've never heard his music. I sort of listen to old school rap. I don't listen to up to like late 90s rap as opposed to anything now. So when I try to hear like the boutique weirdo rap, I'm not saying that he seems to be more of like, I don't know what kind of hip hop he does.
When this is over, I will go listen to one of his
Yes, I will
songs.
try to listen to. He's just good.
Because I didn't know that he was.
And I'm afraid one day if I happen to walk by him and he does a spin with his genitals out, I'll get knocked out.
There was a point where you saw the silhouette of him, and you saw the dick like hanging.
I pray that was a fake cock. I pray that was a fake dick.
I pray for whoever he's with because oh my god,
but
it's big, like really big, like twice the size of mine.
So Kid Cudi and Martin Henderson, who I know I've seen Martin Henderson before. I just couldn't remember where I've seen him before.
Is that the main? He really reminded me of. I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that was in Loki show as the.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Wow. That guy.
Owen Wilson.
Wilson, right. Yes, he does look like him. Thank you, because I was trying to wonder what he looked like.
He was giving serious Owen Wilson, but he's actually from New Zealand, and that's not his real accent.
Wow, I'm telling you, those European.
They really
do
it good.
European,
They really do it good.
Anyway, those other actors that try to do American, they're much better than I guess when we. You know who's impressive to those people over there in England? Gillian Anderson, who played Scully from X-Files. They really love her. She can pull off the English accent, apparently. So anyway, these group of kids, I guess they're supposed to be in their early 20s or something. I know
I would say
Martin Henderson is Wayne. He's the older guy in the cowboy hat. I think he's probably in his early 40s. He left his wife to go out with Mia Goth's character, Maxine.
No. Pearl. Wait,
no, Pearl is the old lady.
No, Pearl's the old lady. Yeah.
Ooh, so we'll be spoiling the film, obviously. There's also
it's spoiled in the fucking in the IMDb credits. But the thing is, I didn't know when I was watching it. Although I thought there were points where they looked similar, and like even when they showed them do the same turn with their face, I was like, I had this whole thought of what the film was going to go in the direction, and I was completely wrong. Like I had this whole like science fiction prediction thing. I had this whole theory when it shows. There's a scene where it shows Mia Goth turn as Maxine, and she does like a kissy face, and then it shows the old lady.
During the porn scene, right?
Yeah, she's like looking through the window or something, and they don't know it. And she does the same turn and kissy face.
Right.
And I remember thinking, I didn't think they were the same person. I didn't realize she was playing both of them, but I think
the lady was just seeing herself as that girl.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, we watched a movie recently where they like did some weird time travel to like old England, and she was like, it was this lady, it was a girl who wanted to be a fashion designer, and she was staying.
Oh, okay, Last Night in Soho?
Yeah. I was thinking it was going to be something like that a little bit, where like, maybe,
I see that.
Maybe this old lady was actually her. Time travel somehow. Like they went into a time loop and they're staying with like old angry her, and the only way
did that affect your thought of the film? Was like, wait, it's not my genius science fiction idea.
No, but I kept expecting there to be some more hints of that for like a half an hour. I was like really stuck on that idea, and it wasn't that.
Well, what happens with this fucking movie is that whenever I read non-spoiler reviews, And even the non-spoiler reviews, they'll spoil it because my brain starts working in a different way.
I don't know why you read reviews before watching a movie. I just don't understand that.
But they would like talk about Mia Goth. They were like, Mia Goth, she does great in this dual role. And I was like, what does that mean? And I'm like, is she playing somebody else, or is she playing a nice person that goes psychotic? You know. So then I was like, the whole thing, I was just like fucked up the whole movie. Anyway, so it's these group of kids that are trying to make a porn film. There's R.J. Played by Owen Campbell, who's like the director and / director of photography. His girlfriend, Lorraine, who's played by Jenna Ortega, she was recently in the Scream movie.
What's the term? He got cucked? Is that the word?
Yeah, cucked big time. Jenna Ortega is a very pretty young girl. It was funny. She was in Scream, and she plays a younger sister, and she literally does look like a 14-year-old girl in that movie. So to see her here,
she looks really young.
She looks extremely young in here. I think she's just probably sleight of frame. Mia Goth is this assertive actress. She wants to be a star. She has this very particular thing on her face, like a not beauty mark or whatever it's called. She's like Weinstein,
like
I think
freckles, I guess.
Yeah. The only problem I have with Mia Goth is that she got pregnant by Shia LaBeouf, which I don't agree with. Should be me. Anyway, there's also Brittany Snow.
You should have gotten pregnant with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, but he's a dipshit. He stole. There was an artist named Dan Close. If you ever heard of Ghost World, you know that comic book.
Yeah.
In the movie, he wrote a comic book, and then Shia LaBeouf wrote and directed a movie where he just plagiarized the whole fucking thing and said it was his.
So and that's he didn't get sued.
No, because it was the quote unquote. Then they started retracting and saying it was like a fan film, even though he said originally that he made it. So.
Oh, that sucks.
I will always have a problem with it. I like Shia.
Intellectual theft.
I liked Shia LaBeouf in the past, but after that, I just had no.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
I'm sure he's upset. I'm sure he's upset that I'm feeling that way. There's also Brittany Snow.
Yeah. He just told me that. I can't believe I lost a fan.
There's Brittany Snow, who I remember. I only heard of her once, like not back then in the early 2000s.
She's sexy.
She was the host of she was like the main actor of a show called American Dreams. It was like about the 50s. And I'm like, a show in the 50s? That shit nobody's going to watch that. And like I said, no, it did. But now she's in this. And it was very weird to see like an actress who I've only seen her twice, essentially, in anything. And she was in like a bubblegum princess type of role. Mm-hmm. And like only in the commercials I saw. And then to see her and she's all naked. And she's probably one of the best characters in the film.
She's super hot. Oh, my God.
She's very pretty. And then there's so these 5 kids are going and trying to make porn. They don't tell their people. They're doing I guess an ancient version of what do? You when you go to you rent a house.
Guerrilla filming.
No, when you rent a house somewhere else. What do they call it?
Squatting.
No, squatters don't rent. No.
Oh, when you go to a hotel with a horror or something like
not
that?
A hotel. No, you do it. When you go out of town. Remember when you jump
Airbnb.
From holy Christ Almighty! Yeah, that's what it was. Now I wish I had remembered that word. So you just like confessed to a whole bunch of shit right now.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not confessing. I'm just saying these are things that you could mean. I don't know.
Go to a whore, get a hotel. So
when you take back your date on the second date and give them drugs and then murder them.
So anyway, these 5 people are driving up to this place in Texas. It's a rural town. They rent it from. This is my only thing with the film is that the 2 old people that they're renting from are like the worst makeup effects I've seen in a long time.
They're not the best.
Stephen Ure as Howard and Mia Goth as Pearl. Just so you know, they actually filmed a prequel.
When they made doing it. It's going to be about the old lady.
Yeah, the old lady and Howard, and the old lady and Howard have an issue where Howard can't get it up, which
Poor
is not
guy.
true, because he'll have heart problems. So I guess he kidnaps people so she can.
His heart gets the blood pump into his wiener though in that last scene.
True. So he it'd be funny if when Howard died, when he got a heart attack, like he just got a massive erection and shot jizz everywhere. And I can do it! I can do it! And his head explodes.
Here I go!
So we have a bunch of, like, a lot of people are complaining that it's sort of slow to get to action towards the end of the film, which I guess, but I think stylistically I liked it so much.
I mean, why can't he just fucking hire, like, male gigolos for her or something? You don't have to kill people.
I guess, yeah. I guess you make, that makes sense, but I guess it must be hard, or they probably didn't have enough money to do that. That's pretty good. And all throughout the film, they have this. They had this sort of the same footage looping of like this.
Yeah, that was a cool
creature.
reveal. I like.
Yeah, I thought that was a good reveal, but I was like, how could it be these? This is the 70s, right? How could it be
Yeah.
these exact 3 moments that same thing is playing at the same time? Like, how many is that one channel that's just playing that guy's thing?
Well, I'm sure that artistic liberty was taken by the director.
But there's some really cool visual elements in here. There were some parts when a shot was going to progress to another scene, it would show the image 3 times.
Yeah. I like that.
I love that. I don't know if that was taken from something else, but I thought that was a beautiful transition
It
shot.
felt very like dreamy.
Yeah. It was spooky. It was a spooky thing. There was a great crocodile joke in there. Well, not a joke, but the part when Mia Goth is swimming in the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And that fucking crocodile's coming after, and I was like, oh, so it's like one of those
And
movies
that
where
comes
multiple
back,
things
yeah.
can kill you, yeah. And she's leaping out nude, which was not a bad thing in the film. And then also just the general vibe of the film, I think, is really well done. The actors are good, but I think I saw this when I saw this film, I was in my feels, so to speak, because I think Gilbert Gottfried had passed away when I watched it, and I'm not really affected by celebrity deaths.
Yeah, but
but I was
cool.
I listened to his podcast all the time, and I was really sad about that. And then watching this movie, this is a femcel movie, I guess. What incels?
Femcel?
They call
Oh.
female incels femcels.
Is that
so-
possible?
It is. You'd be surprised.
I feel like
A lot-
guys are just such pigs that any of
women
them could get
are
laid
better than
if
men,
they
right?
Really
No,
wanted
but there's
to.
a lot of women that can't get laid, and this is a prime example of that. She can't get it up. Her husband can't get it up for her because she's almost 80 or 90 years old in the film. And and I was like that. And then the one scene that got to me was the RJ, the director, which she's a dumbass. And she's an asshole too. The Lorraine character.
She's kind of an asshole. They should have discussed it.
Yeah, I think there's two minds of watching this scene, because obviously it's the 70s, right? So people are just free love and all that horse shit, and the porn actresses are Lorraine, no, not Lorraine, Maxine kind of has an open relationship with Wayne, and Wayne is kind of cool about that lifestyle. He doesn't care.
She's openly fucking a man in front of
Right. No, they're just cool with
But
it.
only on camera, not
Right.
off camera.
So they're making money from it, and Jackson, who's played by Kid Cudi, is I think sort of dating Bobby Lynn, but they have an open relationship too, I guess, or they don't, or they probably, I think they're with each other, but they're sort of only fuck on film outside of it. They only
were
have sex
making
with other
out in
people
the
on
car.
film.
They like
right.
each
So I
other.
think they're in a relationship too. So it kind of seems like those two people that are those 4 people are in sort of solid relationships, and RJ
they
is
just they don't value sex the same way.
And RJ is
they see sex as fun and love as love.
Right. And RJ is not that type of person. He's sort of a quote-unquote traditionalist, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm more like RJ.
Me too, which is sad.
I wouldn't want to see someone I'm with getting banged by someone else. It's not my
Especially
thing.
with a 10-foot penis. And then, so then he sort of kind of poo-poos her idea, because you got to think of somebody, she's...
I kind of feel bad for the guy.
I do.
They agreed to go film this thing. He didn't do anything wrong, and then she just decides on the spot that she's gonna do this.
This is where we're gonna be labeled as incels in this episode.
But why?
Because we can't control our women, or women can't control us, or something like that.
I don't want to control anybody. I don't want people cheating on me.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened. They should have had a discussion.
thing.
Obviously, she didn't like him as much. Although at the end, she was like, I don't want to break up with him. I feel bad if I hurt him. It's really?
It reminded me of the same. It was a lighter echo of the woman that's oh, I hurt myself. Could you help me? After she just tried to kill this person.
Right, RJ. I felt bad for RJ. He
I felt bad
handled
for
it because he kind of
didn't
put
do
down
anything wrong. He's
right. He kind of
filmmaker.
put everybody else down like he was above them in a way. They're not she's not like these people, and they were offended by that, which I understand because.
Well, he should have worded it as she's innocent.
He should have took her to the side. Well, not innocent doesn't honestly mean anything because she's obviously not innocent because she wanted to do it anyway. But he should have just took her to the side and said, listen, this shit would fucking hurt my feelings if you did this, And if she said no, then he could have been okay, I'm going to take my camera and go to hell. How about that? Because he was going to do that. And I honestly wish he had driven off. I wish he had driven off and then, gotten away, but that's not how this movie. Once you saw the trailer where he gets fucking stabbed in the trailer, I
didn't see the trailer. This is why I don't watch trailers.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Ruin everything. Why do people watch them?
But I'll put it out there. I felt bad for RJ because
I felt bad
he
for
got
him.
cut.
I don't think that's not an incel statement.
You know how
feel
it
bad
is
for somebody who's
Listen,
upset
Danny,
that
you know how it is. You know how it is. They'll be looking at us like you're stifling a woman's wants. They'll say that.
The fuck.
I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you
No,
that's
I'm
what
saying
people will
for
say.
that.
Listen to this
Shut the
episode,
fuck up.
right?
I don't know.
So I mean, if you're open, if she wasn't really into him, obviously she wasn't into him.
I mean, I don't get laid very often, so I guess I am an incel, but
not by choice, right?
But I'm not an incel like an incel.
So to look at it honestly, she really wasn't into him. If you're into somebody and you want to be monogamous, that's not going to be the case. So what can you do? He kind of has to suck it up and deal with it. But anyway, he gets chopped out. So yeah, I remember watching this going, Jesus Christ! Like I felt miserable watching that on top of like Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah. This stuff that's not really happening. Like X is not a real thing that happens. But anyway. Yeah. So, and I understand why the movie takes long to kind of get to these old guys killing them, because
45 minutes or something.
These are old people. If if all these people knew that these old people were killing them, they'll kill old people. Like old people, you can dispatch pretty easily. Hell, Howard died of a fucking heart attack. One of them had a gun. Yeah, well, yeah, which sucks because I wanted RJ to live. I'm not RJ. Well, RJ, I wanted to live, and Jackson.
I wanted Wayne to live. Wayne was like a nice guy.
They're all likable characters except for Lorraine.
Yeah, they were all. Yeah, no, that's true. Everybody in this except the old people were actually very nice.
And Lorraine, I would have let live just because she was hot. That's. So this is prime.
And I felt bad for Kid Cootie, Jackson because he's trying to like save this lady from the water.
Yeah, and he's like, he's a nice guy. Everybody.
Anyway, I mean, it wouldn't be a horror movie if good people.
Yeah, imagine nobody died in the movie, and that was it. They just got in their car and drove away. And
it's just like a sex.
Then it becomes like a drama movie,
and the old people are like, "Come back anytime."
If none of the, I know, or if this was like a comedy, then the old people would be in their own porn film, and then they drive away happy.
Yeah. They're peeking in the window, and at first it's really scary, like, "Oh my God, she's watching us," and then he's like, "I saw what you guys were doing yesterday. Would you need some extras?" And then, and then they put in like this whole like prequel or they do like a sequel. It's supposed to be like 30 years later, and it's like they put the old. Oh no, I'm not gonna say this. I was gonna say they put the old man to look like Jackson.
Oh boy! But anyway,
they put like a prosthetic dick on him.
Yeah. But it wraps around his kneecaps and shit. And it's like the old people are having sex. They're like remembering the back then days. So you'd hear like, "What do you say? How do you do? I'd like to feel
it's like
with my goo."
It's one of those record players with like a horn attached to it.
A phonograph.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is,
instead of using AJ's there, but instead of or RJ, but instead of using a video camera, he has like the kind that
you gotta put crank the curtain
over your head.
You gotta do the hand crank on the side, and you hear the whole time while they're fucking.
And it's like they're fucking, and then like a black and white panel with words on it will come in.
And instead of saying "I'm coming," it says "Oh, I'm arriving" instead, because that was the original wording for it. But this is a film where you can tell it looks so good that like. They could have changed the ending and it would have been just as good anyway. Like they could have just gone some whole dramatic away. That's how well the movie is shot and it's acted. So what did you think was the best death in the film? The most brutal is obviously Brittany's the alligator death, and second what I think RJ when he gets slashed up.
Yeah, the alligator death. The timing was a little silly to me, but I liked it.
There's no chance that old lady could have the strength to chop up RJ the way that she did. The first stab in the neck.
Well, the old man helped.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, we just didn't know that at the time, but
okay.
Yeah, he helped.
Yeah, because I think
he must have. He must have.
It's solid gore. I wish the makeup effects for the old people were better.
The way that he hit her hand with the axe like multiple times.
Yeah, that was
really
pretty brutal.
Me.
That was pretty brutal. That was fucked. That's what I told you about like, last time when we saw The Sadness. Whenever I see somebody's hands chopped up in a movie, that means they're fucked for the most part.
Oh, no, the foot. He did the foot.
Yeah, but when they cut off an appendage. But they also cut off the guy's hand with the scissors.
You're right. He did the hands too in the
Sadness.
That's a good one for gore.
Yeah, that's a good movie, Sadness, if you guys want to watch. But like I thought Mia Goth was good. Stuff. Mia Goth, despite the makeup effects, because there were some shots where it looked neat. But I thought her, because she's actually British. If you ever actually hear her talk, yeah, she sounds like somebody from speaking of 1920s. She talks like this. I can't believe I made this movie. She talks like that.
Wow.
Because I was listening to this.
She's been in a lot of horror movies too.
Oh, has she? Now she's in the horror of dating accused woman destroyer Shia LaBeouf.
No,
but anyway,
they're done. Didn't they break up?
No, she's having a baby with him.
I think they broke up.
No, there was a photo of her and him. Listen, I keep up on my Shia LaBeouf news. Oh, she was in Suspiria. She was, I remember who she was in Suspiria.
Suspiria, Nymphomaniac. Hold on. I don't know what else. No, look. Oh, you're right. I thought they were getting a divorce or something.
No, they just got together. But I was listening to this podcast called the Boo Crew, which sounds like the most like stereotypical like it's pretty good though. I'm obviously much more famous than we are. They have that stereotypical, "Hey guys, it's the Boo Crew. Just wanted to talk to you."
And they're getting a divorce. Oh wait, no. They're getting a divorce, but then she got pregnant. I don't.
So besides the horror deconstruction, like besides horror news, we can give you all the Shia LaBeouf news that you need on this podcast.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf 24/7.
So the Boo Crew is this podcast where it's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" They have Mia Goth on and Brittany Snow, and she really literally sounds like a 1920s cartoon. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I don't know if she's putting on a voice because it doesn't sound normal. But anyway,
I doubt she's putting on. Why would she put on a voice?
You know what? I remember I went to go see who's the lady from Resident Evil the movies. She was in Fifth Element.
The super hot
Lilu.
one. I can't think of her name.
Lilu, you know who it is, Lilu.
Yeah, I know who she is.
The main actress.
I just can't.
And I saw her in like some sort of comic book festival, and she sounded like she was doing a clearly like Mila Jovovich. She was doing like this clearly ditzy voice. Like for like the comic nerds to fall in love with her. She's like, "Yeah, this is great." And you hear in other like interview, she sounds totally normal, and she was like, "Yeah," like she sounded like a dummy, but I know she's a smart person, so I was just like, okay, so sometimes these actors change, you know, for the audience and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know why somebody would put on a British little girl voice.
No, obviously she is British, but I think he talks like this, like that. So maybe she speaks like that. She sounds normal in the film. So, but actors are act. And by the way, one more thing about Mila Jovovich, if you ever listen to the first Resident Evil film, which James Cameron says is a guilty pleasure, it's certainly better than the rest of the movies. But the director's commentary, it's her and I forget that Latina actress that's in like the Fast and Furious movies.
She's also in Lost.
Rodriguez.
And she's also in that.
Either way, and the director is there, and they
Quentin Tarantino movie.
And the director, she's not in a Tarantino film.
She is. She's in the one called She. It's that the one he made with Rodriguez. It's like the one
that horrible movies. Anyway, not in the car movie, the other one. But
no. She's in Machete. She's in Machete.
There you go. Tarantino didn't do that.
Okay.
But so they just break the director's balls about his bad writing in the movie. It's worth listening to that. And he's like, "Just leave me alone." But the director's having sex with Mila Jovovich, so it doesn't matter. He's the winner. So back to this film. I think what were things that didn't work for you with the film? Was there tone-wise? Because I feel that you have some issue with it.
The story is a little
loose. But I mean, it's like Texas Chainsaw.
It's just a little like typical, like
because people fawn and go crazy about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's the same kind of story. It's just like
Yeah, I know, but it was the first.
Right, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
This is just like it's like This is a standard horror movie story. It's not like a mind.
It's just that it's wrapped up really pretty. I think that's what the case is.
Yeah, it looks great. The actors are great.
I think with this type of film, if you gave it to any other sort of director, they would have picked shitty actors because it would have been cheaper. Then they would have shot it not as well. There would have been a lot more like crappy visuals to it. Because this is like it looks like a movie. Like it's not like
it's like every movie this guy does, Ty West. Like the script is always like a 7 out of 10, and everything else is like a 10 out of 10. It was like I would love if he did like a good script.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think that what works for this film obviously is the stylization of it. The acting is fantastic. So I think everything they went above and beyond in the making of the film. And I'll watch Pearl.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure I know
great split screen scene that was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's a nod to Brian De Palma when he did Carrie and stuff like that.
They definitely had a couple of nods to The Shining. I kept thinking of what's her name, Miss Macy or whatever, the old lady in The Shining.
Okay, right.
That is, and it's like, well, it's like actually that was like a daughter and mom apparently. But first it's like that sexy lady, and then in the bathtub, and then she's like this old corpse walking toward. Like I kept thinking of that scene, and also they had like an obvious axe in the door scene where she reached through. Like that was pretty cool.
So your main issue is that the plotting could have been better, or the storyline could have been better.
The story's like
No, I hear you 100%.
It's like a not interesting story. It's okay.
It's a very simple film where they could have fucked it up and just been like whatever. But I think that the stylization helps the movie. the way that it looks and the way that it's directed and acted. I think that's what.
It's like this movie's a little too normal for me.
Fair enough.
Like even if you have a normal story, like if you have crazy shit happening or it's more intense, then fine. But like it was very like low key, like mellow feeling, even at its most intense.
Yeah, I think all in all, I think it's actually really, really well made type for the film that it is.
Yeah. Like my heart was not racing at any point.
Okay, fair enough. I thought the kills were pretty brutal, which was good. The gore looked good. The alligator was a little iffy, graphics wise. I think the lighting was great.
I found it funny when she went flying back and broke her hip.
Oh, that was good. Yeah. Apparently, this movie really they predicted everything. Every line predicted something. Somebody made a list of and it was actually pretty impressive of the shit that happened later on in the movie. And you're like, oh yeah, they did foreshadow it. So there's this movie is like the king of
they foreshadowed the crocodile.
Yeah, it's king of foreshadowing, this film, because there's lines where Pearl will say to somebody else don't do that to her, she's gonna give you a heart attack, and then later on he gets a heart attack by looking at this girl who got blasted away with the shotgun. I even like the part with the sheriff and stuff at the beginning, at the end. So something's going to happen where they're going to find that porn film. That preacher's going to find out that his daughter was in a porn movie. His head's going to explode like scanners on television.
Well, the movie that's coming up is a prequel,
yeah.
Right?
So it's Pearl. I only saw a little bit of it because I didn't watch. I saw it streaming, so I didn't get to watch it in the theaters. Apparently, the trailer.
I don't know if I'd care to see that, but I would love to see the sequel of.
Yeah, because you know what happens. So, but it takes place in the 40s. So it's Mia Goth again playing the girl when she's younger. And it's obviously in the 1940s, so there's I think Howard comes back dressed from the war, so and I think they just start killing people. So I guess it's just gonna be that type of film. I really don't give a shit about prequels myself, especially if it's a horror movie, because I know they're probably just gonna explain why that guy was chained up in the cellar, and he was like, who gives a fuck? He's already dead. That doesn't matter anymore. So I think the stakes, obviously, when something you don't know happens. But other than that, I think it worked really well. So there was nothing you really actually hated about this film, correct?
No, it's just I don't know. I like being wowed.
Don't watch this movie if you're in a fucked up relationship at the time. Don't watch this movie if your favorite podcaster has just died. Watch it regularly. You know what I mean? Just enjoy the film. But it is a fun film. But it is
good. It is a good movie.
But it does have some good topical, ideas about relationships.
With A24, I think of The Lighthouse or
Oh, I see what you mean.
Hereditary.
Snobby
movies that I think about regularly, and I love them, and there's moments of insanity in them that I love and feel so happy, and this doesn't have that.
So hopefully Danny and I can evolve as men to watch our women get fucked by other guys.
I have no problem with people who do that. I just don't want somebody I'm dating to do that.
Let me bring up this one story once. This is a story that infuriated me because this reminded me when I saw this in real life. I was on the train by myself because I'm a loser. This was years ago.
I go on the train by myself. Why?
No. I'm just in the context that I wasn't even the guy in the relationship. I was sitting in the train, one of the chairs, and to my left there was a couple there, or I think they were on a date or something. It was obviously the guy liked this girl more than the girl liked him or something like that. Across from them was this guy who looked like he was dressed up. He was like a handsome guy dressed up like a fucking pimp or something. He has.
Don't tell me that.
Wait, listen to me. There's two girls on him, laying on that guy, the pimp guy. Now I'm just saying a pimp just in general. He was just dressed slick. He just looked like, you can tell when a guy's a pussy master. He's sitting there with two girls. And the guy with his girlfriend, the awkward guy with his girlfriend, just sitting there, and she's like, I guess there's some chattering going on, and the guy, the pimp guy, pushes out a card towards them, like a business card, and the boyfriend is awkwardly, you can tell him going, oh fuck, no, fuck this. So he's kind of slowly reaching to it. The girl around him snatches it. His girl that he's on the date with snatches it from his hand and puts it in her pocket. And I was just ooh, oof. I felt, and then the guy was had to ha 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 like that. Obviously it was bad, and I was just in my head going, ooh, oof, oof.
Yeah, that's so uncomfortable.
Because I don't know if you've ever been in relationships where you can be dating because I've had the unfortunate.
Oh, anytime I've been out in public, there's always guys hitting on
your girlfriend while you're with them.
And it's always uncomfortable. Like I'm not like I'm not like a weirdo protective person.
Yeah.
But like it is like, oh, okay, I might as well not be here.
Yeah. No, I've had that before. Where it's just like twice, and I'm just like, the cartoon with the sirens cutting on
Luckily,
my hair.
I've never had anyone cheat on me, and the girl has never expressed interest in the other person. But it's still like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
guys are creepy. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, we're the incel losers in this podcast. Anyway, with that.
I don't know. I don't feel like anyone's
I'm
gonna
just
think
kidding,
that.
people. But this has been. I think it's a good film. I would give this film a solid 8. And I'm very rare with these higher numbers. An 8 out of 10.
I think we give a lot of 8s.
Okay, fair enough. 8 out of 10. Thanks for sinking my ship, asshole.
Sorry.
Solid 8 out of 10. Reenacting a scene from Lake Placid with an old lady feeding somebody to a giant crocodile. Danny, what rating would you give X 2022?
You give it a 7 out of 10. Keeping a woman who I guess has no fingers in a dungeon.
That was a man in the dungeon. Okay, I'm sorry, but the young girl, yeah. Sorry.
In a dungeon, presumably, so that your insane wife can, like, I guess scissor her or something. I
do
don't
some
know.
frottage on her. What do you think about that sex scene with that old man's young-looking rump on the...
I was. Making me long for that vampire movie we watched recently with Larry Fassbender
okay.
and Susan Crampton.
Oh yeah, I remember they did show his ass in that movie. Jacob's wife.
Jacob's wife. We saw his ass.
That's great. If you guys want to see a good vampire movie, go see Jacob's Wife. I think that was Danny's favorite movie of the year, right?
I liked it. I thought it was really silly. It's silly.
It's a fun movie.
I liked it.
I think Jacob. I'm sorry. What is
you get to see some Larry Fassbender ass in there.
Larry Fessenden. Larry Fessenden.
Fessenden,
yeah. I think his first movie.
Fessenden.
The first movie.
I think
Michael
I'm thinking
Fassbender.
of the guy that plays
Magneto. Yeah, but Larry Fessenden did a film called.
Who's Fassbender? What the
Michael
fuck is
Fassbender,
that?
yeah. But Larry Fessenden.
Okay, I'm combining. Yeah.
Larry Fessenden first. Off the rails this episode has gone. But Larry Fessenden, his first. I think one of the big first features he ever did was a movie called Habit, which is like treating vampire drinking blood like heroin. So we should check that out one day. Anyway, with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Toenail clippers or fingernails.